Good evening and welcome to the December 22nd, 2020 open session meeting of the Ayer Planning Board. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, Governor Baker issued an emergency order temporarily suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Public bodies otherwise governed by the open meeting law are temporarily relieved from the requirement that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate alternative means. This meeting will be broadcast live on Channel 8 and on Zoom. The public may participate remotely by following the call-in information on the bottom of the live broadcast screen. For the Zoom meeting information relating to remote participation, please contact Cindy Knox, IT Director, at cknox@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8252 prior to the meeting. Thank you very much. 6:15, call to order. May I have a motion, please?
I make a motion to approve the agenda for the December 22nd, 2020 meeting of the Ayer Planning Board.
Seconded.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. Fantastic. Any changes? Any discussion?
Yes.
Yes,
Mr.
Jonathan.
Chair.
Yep.
14 Washington Street.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way we can close that public meeting and just say they can reapply without prejudice?
I was going to handle this when we got there, but they sent an email today. So why don't we handle that after we take care of
Okay. Fair
Zero
enough.
Washington. Thank you. Okay. Other discussions? Hearing none. I'm going to go by the squares on the screen, guys. Mr. Diskin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Krantz?
Aye.
Ms. Murray?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. And for those of you who weren't here before, Mr. King is on his way to the meeting. He is in traffic right now. Great. So first on our agenda is a continued review for the preliminary subdivision plan, 0 Washington Street, Northeast Site Development, LLC, and Beal Associates. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Yeah.
My name is Larry Beals, and we wanted to review some more information with you tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I should introduce the team so that you know who we are. Alex Pera is joining us. Alex is with the firm Davis, DeAugustine, Pera, Netburn, et cetera, et cetera.
Close enough.
Good, good. Joe Levine is the developer, and Brian Butler is the wildlife, wetland mapper and wildlife biologist. So
Yep.
not that we expect a lot of questions, but if you have questions, we hopefully we're prepared for them. So
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if it's okay, I'd like to share a PowerPoint and share my screen.
Let me make sure that I don't know that I can allow, I don't know how to do that.
Why don't I try it? And
I'm sorry, I'm waiting for Cindy to jump in, and
Yes.
Cindy's working in her office, so you can, I think she said you're all set, Larry.
You are all set.
Yeah.
Thank you
So,
very much.
You're welcome.
We of course allow it. We just have to have it turned on. We've been Zoom bombed in
Okay.
the past, so yeah, it's not
Yeah.
pleasant. It's not pleasant.
Well, I promise you that's not our intent this evening.
Thank you very much. And good evening, Attorney Parra. Welcome to the fun.
Good evening.
Okay.
Now you're on the spot, Larry.
I know. Can you see my screen? No,
Not yet.
yet.
There it is.
Oh, there
It's
it
coming
comes.
up. Yep. Fantastic.
Okay. So,
May I ask why you're doing this? You're sharing the screen because you have new and different information for us?
a couple of reasons. Yeah, we went, as everyone recalls, we went on the site walk, and there was a lot of discussion on that site walk. So afterwards, we debriefed on the team and thought we should make some changes. We got some good information, so we've attempted to address information that was developed during the site walk, and we want to share that with you tonight, if that's okay.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So I'm going to make this bigger.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to grab a laser pointer so that I can point to things. And for anyone that is watching that may not be familiar with the site, just do a quick orientation. Ayer High School is located to the south of our property. Our property is outlined in yellow, so it's all of the land within this boundary. And there's a power easement that we'll refer to later that crosses the northern portion of the property. There's a much larger power easement to the north that's not on our property. Residential subdivision to the east, some homes in the southwest corner near our site, and there's a residential subdivision over in this area to the west, which is just barely visible from the property at this time of the year. So that's the site. And if you may recall, let me blow this up a little bit. We met in this parking lot. Well, it shows as a grass field. Since this photo was taken, this area has turned into a parking lot. We walked across the street. We entered the site about here and sort of traversed through the property. I think we got diverted a little bit over in this area looking at the rock. Then we went back across this knoll to where a tree stand was, came to the edge of the natural heritage boundary, crossed the cleared power line easement, and then walked down into this area, which I think helped us all realize what a important open space area that is on the edge of the wetlands, and it's really quite attractive. And just for everyone's edification, you may recall we dug some test pits throughout the property. I won't go through that again, but we do have the information if anyone is interested. This is the conventional plan, the yield plan that we produced prior to the last meeting. There was some criticism, or there were some comments that some of these lots were somewhat awkward. Police and fire didn't particularly care for the hammerheads. So we went back to the drawing board and we produced this as a yield plan, which I'm pretty happy with because it closely simulates the cluster plan. And this is the basic plan that's intended to calculate the number of lots that we can do by right. And if you start here, that's lot 1, and it progresses around with a numbering system all the way to lot 21 at this location. We have a cul-de-sac here and a cul-de-sac here. And the benefit of this cul-de-sac is we did away with the hammerhead lots that were located in that area, sort of irregular shaped lots. I think this is a sensible layout. And what I like is it really mimics the open space plan. So this is a plan that we produced that you're all familiar with, that you looked at last time during the public hearing. And this is the plan that we had on the GPS, on the tablet when we walked the site. So, you know, when we paused in the cul-de-sac, it was this cul-de-sac. We knew when we crossed that line, we walked for a way in the woods, crossed the cleared power line easement, and then made it down into that area. So that is the conventional, the cluster plan that we presented last time. And there were a couple of comments that were made, which we tried to take advantage of. One member commented that this was a nice part of the site, and perhaps it could benefit by some walking trails. And this is not highly designed walking trails, but what we wanted to illustrate is that with that much land, you can really create you can create a big loop, you can create a small loop, you can create a larger loop, or you can create an exhaustive figure 8 if you're so inclined to exercise when you're out there. You probably can't read it, but this first attempt at a trail network creates 2,300 linear feet, so a little under a half mile. We did look for ways, is there something we could connect it to? Can we get out to a roadway or over to the rail trail? And unfortunately, we're disconnected by private property and wetlands. But all by itself, I think it becomes a pretty nice area. And there was also some discussion out there about a kiosk and also some public parking in case somebody wanted to congregate here and walk
Eh,
down.
Excuse me, Mr. Beals. I just wanted, for the people who may be watching this, when you mention kiosk, that's a mail kiosk.
Correct.
For the postal service. I don't want people to think that we're just putting a kiosk there for, a bus pickup or something, which would not be necessary in this issue typically here. But I just wanted to let people who may be watching this understand that. But thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Mr. Chair, may I ask a question?
Yes, let me ask Mr. Beals. Is it okay if we interrupt you to ask questions?
Please, that's
Okay.
what we're here for.
If we get off the track and you've got more to say, please let me know and
No.
we'll get back on track. But go ahead, John, Mr. Krantz.
I want to confirm that the image that we're looking at now that says residential development layout, this is your revised base plan plus the anticipated density bonus units that you're requesting?
No, this is the one we showed to you last
Okay.
week. Yeah,
Okay, so this is not revised, but you added a trail to the back.
and a kiosk and
Parking
Okay.
spaces at the front, yeah.
I had this to blow
That's
it up.
helpful, thank you, yep, great.
So but focusing in on that mail kiosk, and thank you, we've actually got it labeled as a mail kiosk just to be certain. The way this would work is the mail truck would come in, pull into this space, and believe it or not, that kiosk is drawn to scale. So it looks tiny on this drawing, but it's to scale, so it's accurate. And these parking spaces are to scale as well.
Yeah, Mike, what does it have, 32 boxes plus 4, something like that?
Yeah,
Whatever, it doesn't matter, yeah, it's a
yeah.
typical mail kiosk, yep.
Yep.
Okay.
We're also aware of the fact that there are existing homes here.
Mhm.
And conceptually, we think it really makes sense to landscape that perimeter to create some screening. And the features of this mail kiosk is, it was also recommended that it be lit. We're going to see if we can develop a solar lighting system that collects sunlight during the day and then powers the lights at night. But we think this is probably the best spot for that kiosk, subject to any comments the board may have.
Thank you.
Moving on, was there a question?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, Zoom lag, that's about it, so.
Okay. So this is a brand new plan that nobody has seen yet. And when we were out on the site, there were comments made that the other layout seemed to be crowding the wetlands, that the back of these lots tended to crowd those wetlands in that area. And we went back to the office and talked about this, and we thought, well, if you think about it, we've got a roadway that's about that long. And if we can extend that roadway, then we can essentially make the lots fatter and more shallow.
Mhm.
So if we extrude this roadway in this direction, it creates more frontage, and by doing so, we can maintain the lot size, but pull this rear property line closer to the roadway. More importantly, farther away from the wetland resource areas. So this roadway, as shown on this plan, is it's about another 60 feet in length over what was previously shown. Now, when I try to evaluate these things, what I try to do is, you're probably trying to envision what the other one looked like versus this one. So just to refresh your memory, I can toggle between them. And so this is what we'd like you to consider. It would require a waiver to go that extra 60 feet,
Mhm.
But we think we can make a compelling argument justifying the waiver by pulling the property lines out of the resource areas. So this is what we had before. And then this is what we're having, this is what we're proposing for your consideration. And if I can just kind of toggle back and forth between these, if you look at the wetland to the east, up in this area, you know, watch these property lines,
Mhm.
and they, oops, they pull out of the buffer zone. So that's a benefit.
It looks like you moved lot 8, 10, and 11 are the ones that are 8 and 10 are 8 and 10 on this one are pretty much gone on the revised plan. 11's been pulled forward and made into a more rectangular lot, if I'm reading it
Yes.
correctly. The cul-de-sac has moved back toward, yeah, I have a hard
North.
time reading your arrows. Honestly.
Excuse me,
right-
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Any chance that Mr. Beals can make that screen a little bigger? I mean, I can see it, but I think it would be helpful if anyone could make it a little bit bigger. Can you do
Thank
it?
you.
Not sure.
Yeah, it's gonna
Or
work.
just zoom in. Yeah,
Yep.
there you go. Thank you.
Is that good enough?
Yeah, and I'm gonna use the directionals of left, right, up, and down. How's that? Okay.
I
So
can understand those.
the cul-de-sac is moved. I am challenged for directions and other things. The cul-de-sac is basically moved almost to the NEGSP line. Is really what's happened.
Correct.
Like you've almost picked up the cul-de-sac, and the width of the cul-de-sac, close to the width, the diameter of the cul-de-sac, has been plotted down farther into the property, about the diameter of the cul-de-sac. I'm guessing. Just
Correct.
what it looks like to me. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I don't want to break your pace. So please, any questions at this point from the board members?
We'll bring it up when he's done.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll keep moving. And so just, you know, one last toggle between the two. I happen to like doing that, which is why I do it so much. I think it creates a nice image.
Mhm.
Another question was on site distances. So for orientation, this is the high school driveway. And, okay. This is a driveway. This is the crest. That's the high point where that car is. And if you measure the distance to where a car would be on our property preparing to exit the proposed roadway, the site distance is, if you can read it, it says 250 feet. Oh, thank you. 250 feet. And if you calculate the stopping site distance at 30 miles per hour, you know, this is a 25-mile-per-hour school zone. We think 30 miles per hour is probably more appropriate. The stopping site distance is, the required stopping site distance is 200 feet. And as you can see by this, we have 250 feet. Really, that's the entire presentation. I did put this drawing back in, which is the air photo. And what we were hoping we could do is somehow connect this open space over to the Nashua River Rail Trail,
Mhm.
which is located right about here. We were hoping we could figure out a way to get up that power easement out to the public way so that people could come off the public way into that conservation land. But so far, we haven't figured out a strategy to do so. So, Mr. Chairman, that concludes the new information that we'd like to present, and we're here to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. I would. Any board members have any questions? Excuse me for a minute. Can you go Mr. Beals? Can you go back to the slide showing the locus, the one you just did? I'm curious. Are you able to, enlarge? Go about 1.5 inches. Yeah, just even that. Yeah, I'm looking for Panther Place. Can you enlarge that one more time? Not Panther Place. Nashua Street extension.
Just
That's about as large as I can go.
Okay. They're fine. I've been on the planning board about 6 years. I think there was something that was done, either Nashua Street extension, that may or may not be an easement or right of way. I think it was left out of the plan and right around there, but you may not be able to get there. Just in thinking of connecting, because I work with the Complete Streets, I work with the other groups here in town and the non-traditional transportation groups. So there was some discussion at that point, right exactly where your pointer is.
Yep.
Was access through from that place through to the rail trail, I think. But maybe we can see what. Very few people involved in the planning board now were involved back then, so I may reach out to somebody and see what happened with that.
Yeah,
Maybe give
because
you-
this is I've been on
Yeah.
that rail trail. It's pretty nice. And, it's, if we could just connect this to the rail trail, I think it could be quite nice.
Yeah. Whether you do it officially or not, I have a feeling it's going to end up getting itself connected by the
Sure,
folks in town.
that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Anybody on the board have any questions or responses to this?
I'll make a couple of comments, Jeff.
Please do, Mr. Diskin.
So it's clear, Mr. Beals, that the Oxbow work that showed the basically no take and the minimum, if any, impact on the NHESP drives this new plan because you pushed the lots further into that. So I guess that's just for clarification, but it seems obvious.
Sure, Brian Butler's with us if you'd like him to speak specifically to that.
But I think we understand it by looking at the plan, but if he wants to comment, he could.
Hi, Brian here, and let me see which screen I'm looking at. Here we go. Yes, that's a correct observation, but a letter I wrote as a supplement to the draft site report number 2 from Mr. Archambault, after the review process, the natural heritage line kind of becomes moot, and it's really just a matter to put in place to hook the somebody like Joe Levine so he doesn't end up committing a crime in violation of MISA inadvertently. But so we're confident this plan hasn't been reviewed specifically by NHESP, but we're confident based on the response from earlier discussions and submittals to them that this will have a similar or the same negative take determination. And we like the geometry better. We like the open space configuration better. The lot geometry, we like the configuration of the open space as it's juxtaposed in the larger environment. And I was just, when you were having this discussion, I was looking at the GIS to see what other connectivity we might have. That's why I was a little slow on the draw to respond here. But if you have other questions, I'm happy to try to respond as well.
We have a lot of knowledge of connectivity. I'm also on an open space group as well. And we walk all those areas, but it's obvious that by straightening out the lots in the back, you've got rid of some of the hammerhead configurations or whatever you might call them, and that the calculation of the open space is going to increase or be easy to figure out based on any future documents. But it looks to me that the new houses and again, the lots, if you blow it up a little bit more, but let's just say the 4 lots to the furthest to the north, those houses, the residents would end up sitting in the NHESP, whereas before, I think they probably had lots there, but not the actual buildings. So
correct, yeah.
Anybody have a thought about that for going back to them about the take or no take? Because now you're putting a building in there, a residence, rather than just a lot configuration.
I'm sorry, Mr. Ken, when you say anybody have any considerations on that?
Do you think, does Mr. Butler think that the original no take letter from the agency in charge there basically saw a plan that did not potentially have housing in there, but had some part of the lots in there, beyond the NHESP line. Now it appears, based on this plan, which we're seeing for the first time right this very moment, that the 4 buildings will be in there, including their driveways and whatever, runoff and things of those lines. So there'll be substantially more physical construction beyond the NHESP line than there was in the original plan. So my question is framed around the concept: would a professional need to go back to them and say, look, before we had no buildings in there, in fact, your submission, which I think needs to be corrected, as I mentioned at the last meeting, states that there's no construction in there, I believe. Now we certainly have construction, including driveways, the buildings, whatever stormwater runoff is generated and so forth. So that's my concern, I guess.
Yes, and that would certainly be our intent to go back to take Natural Heritage's temperature on this in a formal manner, as a supplement to our original submittal, but we didn't want to go to that length or that measure and use up their time, their review time, until we vetted this with the planning board. We thought we'll discuss it with you first, and I have a pretty high degree of confidence that the response is going to be similar or the same for this configuration with Natural Heritage. So we wanted to vet it with you initially, and then once we receive your blessing, if it's forthcoming, then we'll immediately go to Natural Heritage to confirm that.
It's kind of flipping the process because you've already been there to them before. Now you're looking for us to make a commitment before you go back to them. I'm a little concerned with that.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Yes, please.
you can flip back and forth between the two plans that the board have seen. And again, the different iterations that we've sent to National Heritage is when it comes to the lot configurations, the lot locations or the house locations, it's really not a whole heck of a lot different than what National Heritage saw throughout the process. So, as much as I can alleviate any concern, that there's not, what National Heritage is going to see is not fundamentally different than what they saw in the beginning of our design and planning process, even before we came to this board.
Okay.
Thank you.
You
And
know,
I'm not going to attempt to put the cart before the horse, but should this be ultimately a configuration that that is approved and moves forward with, and National Heritage says to you can't do it, in many ways we're back at the drawing board.
And that's at my risk.
It's your risk.
Yeah.
You either lose 4 lots or you come up with another configuration plan.
And my time and the money and stuff.
Your
But,
time, your money,
yeah.
and all that stuff too. I appreciate that.
but we do have, again, we're not just hucking darts here. We do have a high degree of confidence that this is, going to be, palpable to them.
Exactly.
Okay. Mark.
I think Mark Cauchambeau has a comment.
Yes. In seeing more area of the lots within the NHESP line, I'm aware that the NHESP area is not jurisdictional and it doesn't have any legal standing as far as, prohibition of development. But I do recall from the conservation study that was done by Oxbow that there were quite a few large trees in that area of, to the north of the NHESP line. I would like to see, for my analysis, an overlay of the large trees that were identified in that study with this plan to see how many of those large trees fall into these lots and what we could do to mitigate that before we, consider this strongly. I recognize the other, my first initial comment is, certainly the Conservation Commission will be pleased that the lots to the east were pulled away from the wetland buffer zone to a greater degree. But we do have to take a careful look at the other impacts.
Yeah, if I may paraphrase or kind of summarize, it looks like you're not going to be putting buildings specifically in the lots 8, the original lots 8 and 10 were going to have to be built within the 100-foot buffer somewhere. And these now pull it back out of there.
And for example,
If you, yeah, go ahead.
I had Ben, who's not with us tonight, locate, there was a specific tree. I think Larry can zoom in that, on the original plan would have been within one of the lots. It's above lot 8 or so. And now, again, this is what we're suggesting. This long road configuration pulls us completely away from that larger tree. So, some of this is we're moving stuff around, this benefit is a greater benefit than another. So, again, we are trying to pay attention to the comments and the trees and things like that. Again, this is just,
Appreciate it.
If I may, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Alex here. So, I think it's useful in reviewing this proposed plan to look back at, with some specificity, at the conservation analysis and recommendations made by the Conservation Commission, because they did prioritize amongst the, the areas that were shown on the Oxbow plan as high priority. In the natural heritage area, the Conservation Commission felt was lower priority, provided that NHPSP, made a determination that there wouldn't be a take, that it was lower priority than the wetland resource areas. So this plan is responsive to the Conservation Commission's prioritization of the the high priority areas according to their guidelines.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. I was going to say, I think we actually recognize that by removing the lots on the upper part of the that actually would be completely into the buffer zones, and also reading their recommendation. I still have some questions for them on how they prioritize the border vegetated wetlands areas, because
Mr.
as
Chair.
much of the buffer zone as is feasible and practical, retaining them. So it's an interesting question I have for them. Yes, Mr. Krantz.
Yeah, I'm struggling to see how this plan can be reconciled with the priority map that Conservation shared with us. In particular, and I can't see the numbers of the lots. I think that they're northeast corner. I mean, I see multiple lots that are not only deep in the buffer zone or even mostly composed of buffer zone, but actually extended to the wetlands themselves. And I want to hear from the applicant and perhaps the applicant's attorney about why you feel that's consistent with the Conservation Commission's designation of high priority areas.
I can speak to that, and then Alex can, add to it. Is that the lots that are, primarily that are in the buffer or have wetlands. So those are the lots along Washington Street, whose frontage is on Washington Street, and you try to pull out as much as you can, and we've done that. And those are the locations of A&R lots. And just because there is wetlands on the lot, doesn't mean the house is getting dropped in the middle of the wetlands. We've pulled away as much as we possibly can. That is why we're suggesting this additional open space alternative. And we're in the buffer, and projects have been built in the buffer, and I have all the confidence that we can work with conservation to put measures in place to alleviate encroachment into the buffer and things of that nature. So yes, there are some houses that are lots that are located within some of the buffer. We're trying to make an attempt to pull it as they're out. But again, we're just trying to fall within the guidelines of the open space regulations, and there is a lot yield, and there is some aspects of economics to this. Not trying to make it run it, but it is reality. And so there are some houses that are in the buffer, but that can be dealt with, and we can do it appropriately. If Alex can add anything else, happy to it.
Well, Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, Brian here. I think this configuration allows all those lots to be built with the house greater than 50 feet and the outer 50 feet minimally. Is that correct?
Absolutely. We pulled significantly further away from the buffer. Now, majority of them are completely out of the buffer, or just the complete backyards are in the 100-foot. So we're trying to do what we can do here.
So,
excuse me, but the whole point of a buffer, in fact, the reason we even talk about buffers is that we recognize that's not just about the placement of a physical construction. We understand that there can be impacts from just normal human activity within those areas, like pets, mowing, grass clippings, et cetera, and fertilizer and chemical treatment of lawn, et cetera. So those are the things that the whole buffer is intended to address. So even if the physical structure is outside the wetland and in the buffer, the impact of human activity is still very real there, and it seems to contradict the very reason to have buffers in the first place.
So
again, Alex can answer it.
If I can just address that. So the Conservation Commission has the jurisdiction under the State Wetlands Protection Act and under the town's own bylaw to further regulate, the development of each of these lots. It is fairly commonplace for the outer 50 feet to be deemed buildable by the Conservation Commission and Conservation Commissions generally, subject to conditions that protect the wetlands. And so, if this configuration is approved and the subdivision goes forward, any lots that are going to have any construction within the 100-foot buffer zone are going to be in front of the Conservation Commission under their notice of intent process, which involves a fairly rigorous and substantial engineering and wetland scientists review to ensure that the lots, in fact, will not have a negative impact on the wetland resource area. And again, just because the planning board has approved a layout of lots in a subdivision way, that's not the end of the regulatory story. The Conservation Commission is going to review each of those lots individually under a pretty rigorous process. And again, we're trying to be responsive to the prioritization of the Conservation Commission with respect to, the different types of high priority areas that have been mapped under their guidelines. And this plan, I think, is responsive to that. I mean, you look at Oxbow, back up here a little bit, is the criteria that the Conservation Commission asks you to use in order to map the areas of, that might be considered for conservation are very broad, general criteria. They're not specific, to the particular characteristics or topography of the site. So when Oxbow went out and mapped the areas, it was just following the guidelines, and you saw that, all of the wetlands and all of the natural heritage, all of the land behind the natural heritage, all of that property got included because that's how the guidelines are written. I think it's part of your job and part in consultation with the Conservation Commission to then, refine that and prioritize by making your conservation findings. So, I hope the fact that the Conservation Commission is going to be examining each of the lots that do encroach, into the buffer zone is some comfort to the planning board.
Mr. Chairman,
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Diskin.
we fully understand the total of Mr. Para's explanation, and I think most of us on the board are aware of that. So thank you for the explanation, but we are cognizant of pretty much what the requirements are and whose board has authority on what criteria. So I tend to agree with the applicant that, they contend with the wetlands and buffers and so forth on the lots that they need to contend with. I'm back to, some basic fundamentals of the layout, and I agree. I've got a couple more questions, but I have no dispute with the understanding that, they're going to go to the Conservation Commission, and our job is to understand that the lots work within the shapes and dimensional requirements that we have and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to ask your questions, Mr. Diskin?
Yeah, sure. So there was a preliminary meeting, I understand, held between the developer and our Department of Public Works, excuse me. And it involved the potential number of, I'm going to ask you a simple question. Joseph,
Mhm.
is there any intent to have common driveways here?
There is, and that would be only at the end of the cul-de-sac.
Okay.
Larry, can you zoom in at the end of the cul-de-sac a little bit?
On the Panther Place cul-de-sac, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So I think when you look at, the lots at the end, there would just be very short driveways just to reduce curb cuts. So where you have right above where the hand is Larry's mouse, those two lots there would share just an entrance, for a period of time. It then makes sense. And then one splits one splits the other way. Same with the other two kind of pie pieces, just one curb cut, one bangs right, one bangs left.
Mhm.
And then again, same thing, just kind of opposite at the bottom of the cul-de-sac, just one cut off the street, a side load garage or something like that, and then just kind of a longer driveway so it works. Makes sense. Not long common driveways, just entrances, 20 feet split. One goes one way, one goes the other.
We
I
do have
think-
a
yeah.
section of our bylaw that restricts the length of a common driveway to 150 feet. So you should
Mhm.
keep that. I guess you guys are aware of that.
Yeah, and again, the common driveway part would be less than that, just a curb cut
Yeah.
and then split.
And the reason I asked that is because one of their concerns was, if there's a lot of driveways in one location around the cul-de-sac, you're obviously aware of the fact it would become cumbersome and difficult to maintain and plow and everything else.
I don't think we disagreed with that comment.
Yeah, okay.
Now, and go ahead, Mr. Diskin, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So it looks to me now that what we're down to here is talking about the, I guess I'd leave it up to Mark, but I'll make my comments and then go back to Mark Ashenbo. But if we just go back to the count, you used an interesting term because I brought it up at the last meeting. You considered the lots on Washington Street and stated they were A&R lots. But Mr. Parra disagrees in his notes to us about that, or an email that he sent. So how are you guys going to handle those lots that are frontage on Washington Street?
Alex, you want to start this and then I'll finish it?
'Cause I agree with you, Mr. Levine. They're A&R lots. That's what I stated the last time.
Well, Alex.
Thank
can
you very
speak-
much for that comment.
Alex can speak to the practicality of it. I can also,
And I think you should stick with that. I don't think you should even go to Alex.
well, what I could say this is before we can agree to disagree, that cliched saying, is the new yield plan has 21 lots,
Right.
which would, again, let's just agree or disagree on the A&Rs. If we agree that Alex was right, who I like to think is right, we can technically go up to 30. But let's just say we agree to disagree, then we're back to 28. So we're kind
That's
of
what
like, the issue kind of can work its way one way or another.
That's what I was hoping you'd get to, because I noticed the count seemed to be the same. And I want to end up at that number, not you trying to push it to more lots. So
I'm not trying
that's
to
a
pull
personal
anything.
comment as one board member only. So it's,
And appreciate that. I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm sitting here counting the lots on the revised
that's
plan that you
29.
put up. Actually, can you, I'm sorry, Mr. Beals, can you go, is that it?
No,
No, that's the original, that's the original.
plan.
Yeah, can you go forward to the revised OSRD plan, I'm gonna call it?
right.
There you go. I believe it's 28 lots, is it not? Yeah, 20, it says right at the bottom, 28 lot open space, okay.
Okay.
So you have not increased the number of lots, you've changed, I'm gonna just paraphrase, go to the 64,000 feet, which is how I'm looking at this right now.
Sure.
You've changed the shape of the lots of the upper lots, the hammerheads, they've been changed.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is not the latest version, this is got
No.
hammerheads.
Larry, can you click?
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pull
So-
it up if possible.
Yeah.
This one looks more like a conventional subdivision. No hammerheads.
Correct.
Okay. Boy, hammerhead lot. I had to ask my dad what that was when I was like 9 years old. He explained it to me.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, these are more conventional lots. It looks to me like the actual, and I can't do it without measurements or plans in front of me. It looks like the boundaries on lots 1, 2, and 3 along Washington Street have not actually gone deeper in. Lot 4 on the corner is now deeper into the wetland resource area. Lot 5 hasn't changed dramatically. Lot 5 and 6 and 7 have stretched back a little bit.
Mhm.
I'm just comparing this on the piece of paper here on what's
Sure.
on the screen. The hammerheads to the left, which is 8 and 10 are missing, 11's reshaped, 12 has been moved, but ultimately you're coming to 28 lots again, correct?
Correct.
You said before when we were, and you described it, I don't remember if it was the meeting or it was while we were on the walk, how you had come up with the approximate size of the lot based on how you felt the market, basically it made sense from a market standpoint. Put a house on a nice little elbow room lot and you're good to go. So I'm assuming these are all somewhere in the 12,000 square foot area? Still?
None of them are less than 12,000 square feet.
Okay,
Mhm.
great. I see you maintained the boulder, thank you. Okay, and then I was gonna make one other comment, but as always, if I don't, I'm sorry. Ken had me laughing so hard, I
Well, I
forgot.
have another couple of good ones you can laugh at. I'd like to thank Mr. Beals for using the information we gave him to come up with a better yield plan.
Yeah,
Bro.
okay. Anything else from the board members?
Um,
Resounding silence at this point. I would
So
hope
just a
that,
quick question.
yes,
The
please.
3 so-called A&R lots, those would represent curb cuts into Washington Street then?
I would say definitely lot 1 and 2 would be off of Washington Street. And I would say I'd have to get with the engineers for site distances and DPW. I would think lot 3 is to be determined, to be honest with you. You know, what really would be the best way to do it.
It looks like it's, my guess is,
If you asked me to just give you my initial feeling, I would think lot 3 might come off of the new road.
yeah, it makes sense.
Looks
Why
like
why go under an existing street for a third time if you don't have to?
Like I said, that's my initial thought, you know, other than somebody like DPW having a different opinion or something like that.
Well, they may, but that's fee-based and
Sure.
I'll put up with that. I'll be the boogeyman for saying that.
Mhm.
So can we, Mr. Levine, can you, if you were to take, here's a loaded question. You took the 2 A&R lots out that I contend should be taken out, and you did the math on what was left, and you added back in the bonuses that you're going to apply for, it still would come out with 28, that's what you're saying.
Correct, because now we're at 21, do the math.
Oh, no,
Technically.
19,
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm doing,
19.
yes. If we would, let's say, take out the 2, then we're back at 28.
Okay, so that, that makes perfect sense to me. I didn't, you know, be quite honest with you, I didn't want the applicant using an advantage of the lot count to add the, we all know what's going on, the density bonus to create more lots, but it doesn't appear to me he's done that. So I'm good with it. And I also had just a concern with the 2 lots on Washington Street, and one of my reasons for liking those to be A&R, which they're going to be, is that those 2 lots potentially, you know, give you an advantage to get started, you know, as soon as you want, if you apply as an A&R lot, and you don't have to, you know, contend with road costs right away. But in addition to that, wouldn't it be difficult for a person who lived on one of those 2 lots to be part of the homeowners association related to the rest of the subdivision? I mean, that's just a personal preference, that's all. You feel like you're almost independent on Washington Street, but if those lots are considered to be part of the subdivision, wouldn't they have to contend with being part of the homeowners association?
I mean, I think it's just all how we write it up.
Okay.
Yeah, without getting into it,
And you'd
I mean,
have
I
to
think-
provide an easement. The original plan showed an easement from those lots coming back up to the street, the new street.
Yeah, I mean, my initial, you know, because I think, like, for example, yeah, no, I mean, without getting into it and getting off track here, I wouldn't think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you. I'm going to make the request that I'm hoping that you'll be sharing a set of these with us, the new lot configurations with us.
Yes, I will.
I appreciate that. And may I make the request that you put the 100-foot, if I may, could you just color the 50 to 100-foot buffer area on it, not the entire BBW, if you will? In other words, just color the area between the 100-foot buffer, the 100-foot line and the 50-foot line. We assume everything below 50 is going to be part of it, or make it a different color. It just I have difficulty you were very gracious in bringing the graphic to the sidewalk, where everything in red was colored in red, and it overlaid the property itself. If you could include a picture of the same thing with the new lot configuration.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Sorry to butt in.
No, go ahead.
I think Mr. Beals, if I'm not putting words in your mouth, wouldn't you simply revise Plan C21 or whatever the drawings were in the original application and include the new drawings as a revision? Instead of going, you're going to revise the whole set is what I'm getting at.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just making a request that you delineate the, since you've been to the process of conservation and they delineate the high price. I'm sorry if I'm going too fast. I'm going to hold it up to the screen because it's the only way I can do it with you guys. This here, the Great Red Blob.
Yep.
Okay. I was just going to say, if you, I don't know how difficult it is to color this in, but if you just want to color the last 50-foot band, not the 25 to 50, the 0 to 25, 25 to 50, and 50 to 100, it loses its definition the way this is colored.
Yeah.
And it would help me tremendously to understand where the 50-foot line is if we had that on there. That's all.
So what you're saying is that the area between the 50 and the 100-foot buffer is most important to you. So that's where we should put the bright color.
It's all important to me, but it will help me very quickly do the work I think we need to do.
Okay.
If that's fair. I just want, you've got a very engaged board with you right now. And I think I think it'll help us a great deal. That visual will help me a great deal.
So we're revising the plan set to add in these things that we've discussed tonight, and then we'll just make that another exhibit plan in the plan set where we've highlighted the 50 to 100. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
And do you want that on every plan, or would you like it just on this extended cul-de-sac plan?
I personally, this extended cul-de-sac plan, if this is the one you want to move forward with, which it sounds like it is, probably makes sense. Just this one.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be a full size. You can just make it an overlay. If the full size, as you can probably tell at this point, we read these plans.
I appreciate that.
And not everyone does. And I'm out here with, I have a magnifying glass. I mean, it's hard. I have my glasses go up like 6 powers and I have a magnifying glass, but it would be very helpful.
No, it's great because we file plans with boards that never look at them. So a lot of work goes into them. So it's nice to be appreciated.
If I'm not mistaken, I think you found out the first evening that Mr. Diskin starts out by telling you what's wrong with the plans.
Yeah, he made that pretty clear.
Oh, really? So you do intend to take the power company's name off your land, in other words, in the revised set?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm going to ask if there's anything. I'm looking at the clock, and I appreciate.
Mark is trying to get your attention.
Yes, let's mark it.
Oh, it's no longer on my screen, guys, because of the screen sharing. Go ahead, Mark. I only have a portion of the people on my screen.
Yes, as part of the new package that Larry will be getting us, I would like to ask him to prepare the open space calculations per the OSRD section of the bylaw. Similar to what I was doing in the various iterations, to account for the wetlands, the percentage of wetlands that can be counted towards the open space. To do all that math, actually included in a corner of the plan set would be very helpful.
Thank you.
And I'm not sure if we want to discuss the power line easement tonight, but that's something that could factor into some of these calculations. Whether we take that up tonight or later, it's something that eventually will need to be discussed. What else was I thinking about? Also in my staff report, I put out the idea, the concept of some of the units, or some of the lots, I should say, having duplexes rather than single family homes. I think that would help to provide somewhat more affordable housing, not affordable in the sense that meets the state's definition, but something that's a little bit more affordable to home buyers. And it may enable, some units to be doubled up on those lots, potentially taking pressure off some other areas if, say, the Conservation Commission is adamant about that later. So I just wanted that to still be part of the consideration.
Thank you.
I'd like them to comment on that right now because I want to get it off the table.
Please do.
No, I want Mr. Levine to comment on it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, Ken. Sorry, Ken. It came across as I want to comment on that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Mr.
If I
Right
may,
in my head. Right in my head. You got to it
Mr.
before I can say.
Mr. Beals, could you stop sharing your screen, please?
Yeah.
As the man running the meeting, I can't see anybody.
Oh, that's weird. I
No.
have everybody on the side.
Yeah, but
It's
not
because
everybody.
of screen sharing.
I got everybody.
There you go. Okay,
All
good.
right,
Now I can
so-
read the faces in the room.
all right.
Thank you.
So thank you, Mr. Diskin. So yes, to just get that out in the open, as discussed previously, looking at this land and looking at how this property should be laid out and what I think is appropriate and the kind of product that I like to build and I think people like that I build is I don't see any duplexes going here. I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think it's going to look right. I don't think it's the right place for it. I don't think it gets what people want. So I am not interested in doing duplexes. I don't think it's not what I want to do. And I don't think what I'd like to do, I think the town is going to be really proud of it. It's going to look really nice and it's going to fit into the neighborhood. So
Thank you. I wanted to get it off the table, so I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
And with what you said, Mr. Levine, I'm going to make one more request. Could you please include, we understand that they're not the elevations exactly what you're going to have drawn, but in the plan, just include an elevation or two. Thank you. Just as an exhibit in the plan. Again, giving us the tools we need to get the job done.
No problem.
Thank you.
So
Go ahead. Any other questions or comments from the board?
I want to make sure everyone else has got theirs done, and I got a couple more. Mark, you have anything? So, mute.
Go ahead, Ken.
Okay, I was concerned about going back to the original application and, the actual paperwork that you turned in that had some errors and whether you were going to straighten those errors out as well.
So based on the comments tonight, we're revising the plan set and we would revise the application and put a red date on everything.
Okay.
If we're moving to the point where we're going to get favorable opinions from the board, I'd like to have another set with a red date on it so you act on that as opposed to what we originally submitted, because there's been a number of changes.
I do appreciate that, and we are sticklers for dates. You guys don't know that yet, but we are.
So are we. We view these plans as control documents, and it's nice when there's a final red date that everybody knows that that's the plan that guides everything.
Okay. Okay, so the narrative and so forth will be updated is what you're letting us in on.
Yes, and we'll throw a red date on that too.
Okay. So if we can just go back to the cover page of the original ones that you are kind enough to put a list of the permits required in town. And one of the reasons I asked you about the shared driveways is that may require a special permit. You may have to indicate a note there for what special permits you need to obtain during the process in the definitive plan. You obviously don't need it now, but just for clarification, I think doesn't the density bonuses require a special permit? I think we know that. And then the other section, 9.6, the clearing requirement, which is a site plan approval, which I think you have noted, but may not have stated that that was the section that was involved. So just trying to give you the info that would give the cover sheet the total. You've got the list. Maybe you should just take another look and fill them all in.
Sure.
The other question I have noted on this was the NHESP letter, the no-take letter that came after the beginning of the plan set. Ultimately, I can see that sometime being in the future a question somebody will bring up.
So you're saying add that to the
A reference to the NHESP no-take letter that you have.
okay.
Again, you're creating so we have a situation here in town where many of our records were disposed of by mistake. So we're trying to start out and get it done so the people who follow us are in good shape.
Okay. Well, we align on that. That's a good idea.
We appreciate it. I've done a lot of work in a lot of places over the years, and I've spent a lot of time redoing work that should not have had to be redone. Finding force mains is not easy. Especially when they found rock and moved it and didn't tell anybody. Do we have any other comments from the board? at this point. Any other comments from the proponent at this point? I think we're in a place where
If I could-
we're, yes, Mr. Butler,
Add
go
one
ahead.
item, Mr. Chairman, just what we were talking about, the buffer zones and sensitivities and so forth, and just for perspective, I did some rough ciphering, if you will, and we have our use of the buffer zone. If we paved all of the buffer zone on those 5 corner lots in the southeast, would be about 14.8%. Again, that's total 50-foot buffer zone blown away, which we have no intention of doing and probably couldn't do if we wanted to. So it's 15% of the overall buffer zone, all excluded to the outer 50 at the max, all excluded to the outer 50 foot. So we preserve 100% of the 25, 100% of the 50, 25 to 50, 100% of the wetland, and 15% of the total is in the worst case scenario taken out of the outer 50 foot on this entire property. So the actual relative impacts to buffer zone are pretty de minimis on the whole, this project, even with this preliminary plan that doesn't show the house locations and amenities and so forth. But
Yeah, and
so taking the worst case, we're still below 15%.
Yeah, the pervious, non-pervious, yeah, the pervious, non-pervious surfaces and stuff like that. No, I appreciate that. You've got a large piece of property to work with here. The denominator's huge. No, thank you very much. Anything else from the board on this topic?
I'll say one more thing
Okay.
before you kick me off. I'd like to compliment the applicant, their team, and the Oxbow presentation that we received as being very thorough, and I'm appreciative of that quality of work at this stage. Since we're only in the preliminary, I think it's evident that if we continue to get documents like this, it's going to be nice to work through the project. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Good. Thank you very much.
I should ask if there's anybody from the public. I don't see anybody who might want to make a comment at this point. Nope. I think I know everybody on the screen, which is scary. Well, gentlemen, I want to say thank you very much. We're going to obviously continue this to our next meeting. Our next meeting is the 12th of January, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, let me just, is it the 12th or the 5th? I have it as the 5th.
No, it's the 12th.
It's the second Tuesday, right?
The second Tuesday, yeah. The 5th will be the Board of Selectmen.
I'm such a Yankee. I print out my own calendars. Yeah, guess what? Okay, so it's the 12th. Fantastic. Will you be getting us stuff between now and then, Mr. Beals?
Yeah, the 5th
Okay,
would have
thank
been a
you.
challenge. That made my throat tighten, but.
Well, that's why I'm asking the question. Okay, now you figured out my other blind spot.
Yeah.
Is dates. Okay, directions
Yeah.
and dates. So so we'll be able to get that done for the 12th. We have a
Yeah,
continuation.
what do you like? You like them a week in advance, something like that, or what's your preference?
I think it helps us to get by Thursday. We work on by Thursday, so Wednesday the week in advance. So that would put us in for the evening of the 6th, the morning of the 7th.
Yeah, that's fine.
Appreciate it. If it's going to tag a little bit, let us know. Our town hall closes at noon on Friday, so getting us to us by Thursday gives us a chance to talk to whomever we need to talk to in town as the question comes up. It's just sheer fact that we're all volunteers. Sometimes some of us actually work during the day too. So
Yeah, we'll get that in. There are people in my office that think there's a Christmas and a New Year's holiday, but we'll get it in anyway.
you get an extra bucket of coal for Christmas
Right, exactly.
at your desk. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
No, everything, correcting the submission application, that's easy. And the plan updates are pretty simple. So it's not going to be a big task on our part.
Yeah, it'll be helpful for us to be able to look at the actual depth of the lots and stuff like that in feet and meters. One of the questions that I was unable to find it on the original preliminary application was the rough estimate for the impervious surface of the road in the cul-de-sacs.
Okay.
Both Panther Place and Claw. I came up with a denominator. When I did the work quickly, just back of the envelope, you were well in excess of the 50% open space under the OSRD.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be able to figure that out. And as you go forward, and please check with the DPW about shared driveways if you get there, and the fire department, the concern is the equipment is heavy and driveways can't handle it. That's one of their concerns.
Right. And they also told us they don't like them because the driveways are never plowed properly and there's snowbanks.
They are very interested in loss of life and safety. So yeah, that's one of the things that they focus on. And we just got a new bigger truck. So
Okay.
I know that's going to come up. I want to say thank you, unless there's anything else to discuss this evening, because we've got other things on the agenda we got to get to.
Oh, I wanted to make one, Mr. Beals, excuse me. When you gave the description and put up the graphic on the 250-foot sight distance on the street, the speed limit in that area is posted at 30, and it goes to 20 when in schools, school markings are up and whatnot. So there's a posted speed limit there of 30, just to let you know. And undoubtedly, we're going to be asking for some kind of a study, I would guess, as I'm speaking again for myself, when we get to the definitive. Because I have a couple of concerns that even though it's posted at 30, of course, people go faster, you can't control that, but looks like it's a little bit of an issue, taking a left turn as you come out, crossing the road. So
Okay.
throw it out there now.
Okay. Thank you.
I want to tie this one up if it's okay. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. You're welcome to stick around for the rest of the meeting if you got nothing better to do. Otherwise, please have a safe and happy holiday, and we look forward to seeing you in the new year.
Great. Thank you very much. Thanks for your
Thank you very
time.
Thank
much.
you all.
Motion to
Thank
continue.
you for your time.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We'll get a motion to continue.
Seconded.
Move to continue by Mr. Diskin, seconded by Mr. Krantz. Mr. Diskin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Krantz?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Ms. Murray?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We'll continue to the next meeting, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's if you don't mind, let the screen clean up in front of me. So next on our agenda is the continued public hearing for special permit 14 Washington Street and the continued site. Next two items, I'd like to discuss them together and we'll take them up individually in just a minute. Continued site plan review for 14 Washington Street. A couple things transpired in the last few days. Mark Archambault had a conversation with Alan Minoyan, who, as you all know, is involved with the Washington Street fire station and the grant that they got from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for the project. That grant money has not been made available yet, and so the proponent is wary to move forward until he knows where the grant money sits. I then spoke to Kyle Burchard today, following up on that, asking them if they wanted to without prejudice, remove the application, withdraw the application. Thank you, Ken, struggling for words. Withdraw the application without prejudice. And they do believe that they will have information to move forward with at our next meeting on the 12th of January. I've got to go with the email, Jonathan, of what they told me. And I'm frustrated by it too. And I explained to them that it puts them in an unfavorable light in our eyes. But they seem to be convinced of that. We did receive an email. Mark, do you have a copy of that email handy?
From Kyle?
Yes, I have it also. So
Not handy, but basically it just said that.
I got it right here.
yeah, I can read it also. Hold on,
Okay.
let me
Up to you,
find
guys.
you guys. Kyle Burchard today at 12:13 in the afternoon, p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good afternoon, all. On behalf of the applicant, Calvin Moore, I'd like to thank the planning board for its diligence in scheduling and continuing the application for the fire station apartments at 14 Washington Street throughout the COVID-19 event. 14 Washington Street is a significant project with significant investments pending. There are many pieces and processes that will be coming together to complete the project in due time. As such, I humbly request that the planning board continue tonight's hearings for this project to the next scheduled planning board meeting in the new year. Thank you for your accommodations. Happy holidays and a healthy and happy new year to you all, Kyle Burchard. So with that being asked, and I appreciate Mr. Krantz, I can see the consternation on your face. Zoom is good for that. I think we should probably do what we've been doing for the last couple of weeks, last couple of meetings, and that is move to continue until January.
I disagree.
Okay?
Yeah, what would be the consequences if we didn't agree to move it to January? What would happen?
Just going to vote it no.
If you vote to deny a special permit, they actually cannot come back to the board, I think, for at least 2 years.
Okay, all right. Okay,
And if you
all
don't continue, the only motion is to vote to deny.
right, okay.
And I'm gonna say I'm gonna say something. This is a project that the community has been looking forward to, and the community is invested in throughout the entire process. So I am somewhat willing to give personally them a little bit of latitude. I appreciate the frustration they've been going under, and that's where it stands. Doesn't mean we can't beat him up when he comes to the table in 2 weeks.
Mark, can you unmute for a second? Ashimbo,
Yes.
I asked this question before. I'll ask it again. First of all, I want to go back to Kyle's email just for a second. And the language he uses is there are many pieces and processes that will be coming together to complete the project in due time. I don't see any commitment there at all in that language. And I think it's a very weak request for a continuance. Typically, a continuance, in my experience as an applicant in some places, is that you come to a date positive. You try to make a continuance to a date positive. And that is an applicant's responsibility and a board's responsibility to look at a date positive, not just in the wind with no commitment at all. So I am not happy with this. And I understand the politics of it. I've watched the whole process, and I was a supporter of Mr. Moore, being the person that bought the building from the town. So, but there's a point at which we need to get legal advice here, I believe, and that legal advice would be, what goes on now? Is any chance of anything being constructively approved? Does anyone on this board still remember what the drawings even looked like? I have to dig them up now from February 25th. This is just over the top. And for COVID or not, it's over the top.
Right.
And there's a lack of commitment in that email. So until I hear from the applicant himself, the owner, I think we have a valid point of, I don't know when we put it on, continue to a date positive.
Perhaps the planning board can make a motion that, to continue it to January 12th, but that if plans are not forthcoming, new plans are not forthcoming, that will be the last continuance, and the planning board will either deny the application or request that it be withdrawn. But I tend to agree with Jeff here that, there's a lot on the line here, and Alan himself told me that he expects the grant to be awarded, to be announced, I should say, any day now. So, I'm in favor of going one more continuation, but if on January 12th we've seen nothing, then I think it's time to be tougher.
So I'm going to I'm going to step in if I may. We're going to write a letter to the applicant, laying out exactly what was just discussed. Will that fit your needs, Mr. Diskin? You and I.
Be the next meeting date. The date will be the Wednesday prior to the next meeting date.
Yep. You and I will probably get together and write this letter in the next 36. Well, we'll get a letter out the door pretty quickly, okay? And we'll send it over to the applicant. I know the applicant's going to hear about this between now and then, okay? So I agree with you, Mr. Diskin, and I think you all know me to be a relatively patient man about many things. And I do want to see the Washington Street move forward. It's been a tough year, and I'm not going to argue the point either way, but I think we can explain to the applicant our displeasure of where we are and get a solid let's go forward date from him. Fair enough? Yeah.
Ask what the letter does, though. I mean, let's give the applicant some credit. They don't probably, I mean, we heard from Kyle before that this is not ideal, and this is a pandemic, and this has been a hard year, and this is a lot. I don't quite see what the letter gets us any more than what we're actually already talking about, and I'm sure is being heard.
Mm-hmm.
So can I ask what the letter is gonna get us?
It codifies the feeling of the board, puts it in the file.
It also puts a date positive that we're going to ask for
Yeah.
a withdrawal without prejudice if we don't get it by a date.
Exactly. We're basically, the expression is do something or get off the pot, and that's what we're going to say to them.
So, Mr. Chair,
Yes,
if they withdraw,
without
that-
prejudice.
yeah,
Yes.
then they can come back at any time. I mean, why couldn't they have withdrawn back in February and just said, hey, we'll see you next year?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that, Mr. King.
Okay, but that would be, if they're waiting for money, then they could withdraw because we only have hammers to work with here, right?
Mhm.
We only have what to work with?
We don't have fine tools. We could either move on or really
Right.
it's detrimental to the project if we deny it.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Diskin.
direct my question through you to Mr. King, or my response, excuse me.
Hey, come on, guys. It's
We've
a high holiday
We've
week.
been
Go
using
ahead.
our fine tools for a long, long time already, Nathan. We've been
Yes.
chiseling it away little by little. And we really need to, I'm speaking only for myself, I believe they have a responsibility to come back and let us know what's going on and give us a date that we can work with. And I'm concerned with the legal side of it. I just don't know if we have to reach out to town council and find out what we're really supposed to be doing here when something continues to get delayed.
Then I'm going to make the offer to research that tomorrow for us, Mr. Diskin,
Like,
and I will take the responsibility of writing a communication, a letter, which will probably be by email, and we will let the applicant know that we are frustrated about how he's handling the communications from meeting to meeting, among other things. Fair enough?
Thank you, but I'd just like to remind folks that we were very close on this, almost done,
Mhm.
when the applicant
That's right.
the applicant came back to the board with the request that we hold off till they produced a second site plan consolidating the lots together.
Mhm.
So we were told initially that we need to fast track, we need to move. We concentrated very hard on that, had some recommendations, they incorporated it into the plan. And then it was the applicant's request, so to consolidate and change the total, approach. So I don't see, but just give us the plans. We'll give you a vote and get the financing when you get the financing.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think the process has been very transparent, and that so I think that I'm with you, Ken. We need a positive date of when they're going to act, and I don't know that full grant money is needed for them to make progress. It doesn't seem to make sense.
Mr. Ken, what will you, so we still need to communicate with I believe we should communicate with the applicant, our displeasure on where we stand, how this has been continuing, and it's raising issues for us
Mhm.
and for the viability of the project. So two things I think need to happen. One is we need to find out if anything the inactivity of the applicant coming forward and the calendar going by has caused a situation where they are in jeopardy of the project not going forward is one question. The other question is if they are ready to come to us for a final disposition on the project with the last request we made, if it's okay with us and we accept and move forward with the project, it's waiting for financing, and that's another question altogether, and it's off our table.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm gonna think a little bit about writing that letter. I'll be in touch with you if it's okay with you, Mr. Diskin, about that in the morning, and we'll figure out what it is. Maybe Mark will get in touch with you in the morning and figure out what the marching orders would be. They're not gonna be complex, but we'll figure out how to get this to the next level.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr.
I
Diskin.
prefer you and Mark work it out and then get back to the board members individually with what your thoughts are. And
I just want to make sure. Yes, I will, but I just want to make sure I properly encompass your viewpoint, sir, because it's valuable to me.
I'll
It
take it
is.
from Nathan. I'll take whatever Nathan has. That'll be good enough for me.
Okay, good. So we'll try and craft something in the morning, and we'll get some questions answered. We'll find out if there's any legal implications. And given that it is tomorrow, the Wednesday before a high holiday, I'm wondering if we can get a hold of council if we need it, but we will do our best to move this forward as quickly as possible. Fair enough?
Could you query everybody on the board that they're happy? Because I don't want everybody being unhappy.
Mr. Krantz, how do you feel?
Oh, I think this is a reasonable path forward. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. King?
I agree. I'm okay.
Ms. Murray?
Works for me.
I think she said works for me. And Mr. Diskin?
Works for me. Thank you for.
Thank you.
being a
And the
strong-
chair, and the chair obviously says it works for him and we'll take one. So Mr. Krantz, could you please do what you do so well?
Oh, boy. I make a motion for continued public hearing for the special permit regarding 14 Washington Street through to January 12th, 2021.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Krantz, seconded by Mr. King. Mr. Diskin, how do you feel?
Oh, I thought we were going to have discussion first.
Further discussion.
I will vote aye only if I know that the condition to the extension is the receipt of the letter by the applicant between now and a week from now, something like that.
Thank you. Will you accept that as a friendly amendment, Mr. Krantz, as a friendly change to your motion?
Yes, I make a motion that we continue the public hearing for the special permit to 14 Washington Street, conditional on the receipt of a response letter from the applicant within 1 week of the submission. 1 week of what was it, please?
No, a letter sent to a letter sent. We
As
cannot.
long as a letter is sent to.
We cannot.
Okay,
We cannot
yeah, I'm
condition.
sorry.
We cannot condition.
Pardon
the response.
me.
Thank you.
Let me start from scratch.
Go ahead.
I make a motion for continued public hearing for the special permit at 14 Washington Street on the condition that within the week we send a letter to the applicant expressing our concerns.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. King, for seconding that. Any further discussion? Mr. Diskin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Krantz, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Mr. King, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Murray, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you very much. And I thought I was going to get tomorrow off. Mr. Krantz, would you please do a motion for the next agenda?
Do we
item?
need the
Site plan.
condition there as well for this?
Please include it.
Okay. I make a motion for continued site plan review for 14 Washington Street until our next meeting, January 12th, 2021, on condition that we send a letter to the applicant within a week notifying the applicant of our concern.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. King, for seconding. Any further discussion? Mr. Diskin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Krantz, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. King, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Murray, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. I thought it was cute, Ken, that I didn't ask for further discussion. I was hoping to move it through. Okay, town planner update and administrative announcements we have. Mark, you're on the spot, Mark.
Well, thank you, Jeff. Actually, tonight I don't have really anything new. I spent most of my time the past few days working on the subdivision review. It's been a fairly complex subdivision for such a small subdivision.
Yeah.
There are a lot of issues involved in this that we'll be getting to sooner or later, but I'm trying to stay on top of them. But once we get into the new year, I want to discuss scheduling a special meeting for the training, as we discussed before. And also, we talked about, and I know Jeff Tillotson is aware of this as well as Ken, a joint meeting with the Conservation Commission to discuss how we can improve coordination between the Planning Board and the Commission regarding OSRD review. So that's something that we would like to schedule in the new year as well.
Thank you. I'm going to jump off on the administrative announcements and touch on that, Mark, if I may. Mr. Diskin and I had the pleasure of sitting through the Conservation Commission meeting earlier this month, the last one for the year. And at the end of the meeting, they were gracious enough to spend some time with us to discuss the coordination that's required by Section 10 of our zoning bylaw. And my question to the Conservation Commission, in short, was, how do you want to coordinate? And we went around the table and everyone talked about the different ways they thought about coordinating. And Mr. Diskin had a great deal of, had some insights too. And I think at the end of the meeting, we realized that everyone's view of coordination was a little bit different. So the chairman of the Conservation Commission has invited us to put together a meeting in the new year. I'm wondering who's available on January 1st. Come on, guys, lighten up.
January 1st?
But seriously, we got a little bit blindsided by this. Of course, as you all know, my concern is we are not the Conservation Commission. We have our own bailiwick. Our jobs run parallel, and they do cross, and what we do sometimes cross the boundaries between the two. So there's gray area. It's not distinctly wet and dry. There's mud in the middle. We need to come up with a way. And excuse me, Mr. Krantz. And I appreciate what they have done for us in the conservation recommendation on the current project. We did not discuss the current project because putting it on the agenda would have been incorrect because the applicant would not have known about it. I asked to be on the agenda at a very late moment. So, but I'm going to ask if anybody on the board wants to help spearhead work with the Concom. Maybe have 1 or 2 meetings to discuss how to move forward. And Mr. Krantz, you had a comment. Yes, go ahead.
Both. I have a comment, and I'd be willing to volunteer to do that. So, 2 things. I mean, I think it's the critical background to me of our work with the Conservation Committee is that in the end, we should receive plans that look different from a conventional subdivision. And I'm shaking my head wondering, where are we going? How is this different in the end, what we're getting after all this work on the OSRD? If we can't get our stuff act together, we end up with pretty much what was available through the subdivision law before. And I think that is an indicator as to something not meshing right. Something's not happening right. And I just think it's really urgent that we get this together because I could see potential frustration and problems up ahead because they've already manifested themselves.
Yeah, and you've actually put your finger on the pulse. Our bylaw has gone through changes in the last couple of years, and we're now seeing projects come underneath the new OSRD, Open Space Resource Development Plan. We call them subdivisions, but the honest truth is, it's not really, in the eyes of our bylaw, it's not a subdivision.
Oh, it is.
Okay, excuse me. It is a subdivision, however, it's a different application of a subset of our bylaw. Thank you. It's neither fish nor fowl in many people's eyes right now. And one of the reasons why we need to put this coordination together is so that it goes forward in the future, Jonathan. And if everyone's okay with it, I will nominate Mr. Krantz to spearhead this. And I'm happy to join you. I would caution you that you need to keep it to less than 3 members at any one time, so we don't have to post a meeting. And I would ask you, Jonathan, that you can look at your schedule and maybe work with Mark Archambault to come up with some dates that work and circulate them. I am happy to join the meeting. If other people feel strongly about going, I'm happy to step back. I mean, we got a great board here. Everyone's quite capable of doing this. The ultimate goal is to figure out in my eyes, what is the process when a plan comes to town? If it goes into the Conservation Commissioner's office, Conservation Agent's office, we need to be notified. If it comes into our office, they need to be notified. We need to get together. We need to decide at what point in the process do we look at a set of plans versus just wetland delineation, things like that. So that's just something that needs to be hashed out. Ultimately, I think what's going to come from this is we will have a better understanding of how to work with proponents and come up with hopefully a more cohesive management of our resources as we go forward. That's one thing. Thank you. You took my thunder, Mark Archambault. That was on my list of things to talk about.
I have one comment.
Yeah,
Jeff,
please do, please.
to Jonathan, if through you.
I'm listening.
I happened to attend all the conservation meetings, not just the one that Jeff and I went in last week. So I was just sitting there watching because of other issues I was interested in.
Mm-hmm.
I go to them too.
I
just
know,
never
but
say
I'm just saying I
anything.
happened to be there when they specifically talked about this, the proposal in front of us at Panther Place. And a recommendation was made by the Conservation Administrator, which was followed by the Conservation Commission, to not look at any lot layouts. They specifically did not want to see the layout of the lots. They felt looking at the layout of the lots, and this is part of the issue we're going to have to discuss, I think, is that they felt that that might infringe on their ability to just concentrate on the high priority areas. And then their report is based only on their assertion of what is the high priority areas. And that was it. And then it goes to that. So the way they approached it is a little different because they don't have to look at dimensions and the lot configuration. They just wanted to figure out and then send to us what they thought. So that's why there was no plan that they had. They specifically wanted not to look at a plan.
And that's very concerning to me, especially since the recommended procedure by Mr. Parra was that it would go back to conservation and review each individual lot.
No,
So guys,
okay.
we're at 7:45.
You know what I mean?
We're at we're bumping up again.
Yep, let's finish it up, but
I'm like Veruca Salt here. I'm bumping up. I mean, I'm like Willy Wonka. I'm bumping up against the fan right now for time. So this is that's the issue.
that's the point. That is the
That's
issue.
one of them. That's
Right.
one of them. I want to report that I received a response from Harvard's town administrator today that he is checking with council.
Oh, gee. Not too loud, Jonathan.
But I'm going
Excuse
I'm going to say something, and we're not going to
Couldn't help
discuss.
it.
We're not going to discuss Harvard residents, what they did last week. Ken, you can tell Jonathan about that another time. I sent an email over. He sent me an email that said thank you when I submitted our letter to them. I'm assuming we haven't gotten the response back from them, the signed response, because USPS is being what it is. And he sent me an email, and I waited until this morning and said thank you. I received your email regarding our letter. When will I get a response? And he wrote back, I will check with council. So that's where we stand.
It feels very Indiana Jones to me. It's like when he sits around the table and says, who's going to look at the ark? Top people. Top people. So, yes.
It is okay. I'm going to ask you all to indulge me. Okay. It's December 22nd. Let's find a way.
I know. Let's go. Let's go
find
home.
a way.
Let's go home.
Let's find a way to be kind to the world
Just
around
quick
us.
question, Mark.
Yeah, go ahead.
When do we need to regroup together? Mark A. When do we need to? I'm available next week, but I understand you might not be. It's come on. It's vacation week. So
Yeah, let's get in touch next week regarding conservation.
we can. You'll be around next week.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Okay, that's fine with me. Let's make sure we don't drop the ball. We'll reconnect. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, I wish I was traveling, but.
No,
Me too.
You're not allowed. Okay. I want
Mr.
to.
Chairman, just one final question.
Yes, Mr. Diskin.
The certified mail goes out, there's a green tag or whatever comes
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
So that green tag, when it comes back, will have a signature. Could you provide the signature of that?
Yeah.
I did get that, Ken. It came back. They signed for on the 14th. I can't make out the signature. It's just a couple of letters. I'll gladly scan it and send it to you if you want to make it out. But it was signed by an agent. It wasn't signed by the addressee.
I'd like to
I'm
have an
assuming that's
assurance.
because the same thing with our town hall. The town hall being closed to the public, it's whoever answers the door.
I'm looking for an assurance that the letter went to the chairman of the Board of Selectmen as it was addressed.
We'll do our best to ascertain that. Mr. Diskin,
Before
it
it went to
wasn't,
town council.
that was, I don't know that I can find that out, but we will follow up
Thank you.
about that. I missed Harvard's last select board meeting by a day. Unfortunately, I misread their calendar. Again, my blind spots calendar sometimes. So anyway, we'll continue to follow up on that information. With that being said, I would like to, first of all, thank everybody on the board for all the work they've done this year. It's been an interesting and challenging year. No, but seriously, it has been an interesting and challenging year. And it is really impressive how people have dug in on this Panther Place project. I want to wish you all a happy and safe holiday.
You too.
Yeah.
And everyone,
Thank you
yes.
very much.
Amen.
I'll second that one.
And with that, I would accept a motion to adjourn. And thank you, Cindy, for hanging out
So
so late.
moved.
Seconded.
Fantastic. Excuse me, I see a name in the bottom of my screen. Is there somebody who'd like to? Yes. Is there?
Christopher.
Who is Christopher?
Oh, Jeff,
Yeah,
this is from APAC.
Christopher is?
Yes.
Yep.
Chris.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure somebody from the public wasn't going to be all over us for not asking for public input at the end of the meeting.
There was
Okay,
someone on a phone line before. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
one.
earlier there was, but
the phone line is Butler, Mr. Butler.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't have a screen communication. He uses the phone. That's why we hear that ringing phone during the meeting.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
the bat phone goes off too, I guess, while he's working.
he's making it work.
The most technical guy we have to deal with has got, the least technology. So anyway, motion to adjourn. I believe we're in the middle of that.
It's been seconded already.
Moved and seconded.
Yes,
Any-
seconded.
All in favor? Mr. King,
Aye.
Ms. Murray,
Aye.
Mr. Krantz,
Aye.
Mr. Diskin.
Aye, and Happy New Year.
Chair says happy holidays and happy new year all. Thank you.